Hello, it's Friday, and you're watching the pre-viral show.
What an intro.
Oh,
Fancy
God,
stuff, huh?
pumps me
That's
up,
fancy.
man.
No,
Fancy
so excited.
stuff. What's up, boys?
Do I have to be over by this logo here?
Oh yeah, you want me to move you?
No, I'm teasing.
Well,
I'm
I'll
joking.
move it.
It's
Hang on, we
fine.
can get rid. It doesn't matter. We don't. I mean,
Oh, there you go.
we're not here for us.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about Pulse, Hex, and Christmas. All sorts of fun stuff. What's going on? I've talked to you guys a little bit, and you know what it is. I watch your videos, so I feel like I've seen you, but I haven't really talked to you.
Panda's
Well-
he's been living vicariously through us, Matt.
Yeah, I know. We've had some fun without you, but welcome back. You're back,
Thank you.
man. You had the extended. It's awesome to have you back. It doesn't feel right not having you around.
It is so good to be here, and it was good to kind of. I mean, I didn't step away completely, but it was more lurking and hanging out with family, and that's always great. But I'm so happy to be back in the office and back to be talking to you guys and on stream. So let's go,
Dude.
Yeah,
how do you suck at Top Golf, Krypto Panda? How's that possible? You got to hit a ball in a hole, and there's like a million holes.
I'll tell you how I suck at Top Golf. So when I play golf, I suck at golf, and when I play, I do this a lot in life. Actually, I call it playing to the slice, where I just aim left, and Top Golf to go straight. And Top Golf is a little more restrictive. I have something I want to ask you guys. Speaking of which, speaking of sucking at something, I've never. This is a weird thing, but I got this. I was gonna ask you guys last night, and I figured I'd ask on stream. I've never been hunting, and I want to go hunting with you guys. I hear you talking about it, Rags. Will you take me hunting sometime?
Dude, yeah, man. I mean, have you ever been hunting? Do you own a firearm or anything? Or can you in Costa Rica? I don't know.
No, there's no firearms in Costa Rica. My dad has firearms, but I'll just. I don't know if I'd pass any background checks, but
dude,
you could loan me yours.
Dude,
I mean, I don't want to be dangerous. I'll just, you know what? I'll go. I'll just go. I won't even shoot anything. I just
want to hunt, dude. You want to hunt like we could go armadillo hunting.
You know what it is? I just want to be. I want to be freezing cold in the woods.
Wow.
Dude, with a little bit of whiskey.
With a little bit of whiskey. There you go.
Well, Anson's asking if there'll be cocktails, Rags. I mean, he obviously was spoiled last Saturday night.
Well, I don't know, man. I try not to drink before nightfall, so that's probably a negative. But I might make an appearance sometime tonight or tomorrow night.
Okay. Well, he says he's only staying if there are cocktails.
Well, we can do that. Well, and while we're at it, let's go ahead and say hi to chat. Rags, you got anybody who deserves an insult or two?
No, an insult? Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Let me pick out somebody special.
All right.
Oh yeah. The pollster baiter, gotta insult him for obvious reasons. Hex McKenzie, hi girls, what's up? And then K4K Crypto, man. I've been hearing some good things about old K4K. Have you guys been hearing some good things about K4K?
A few words on the street
out there.
Yeah, there's lots of new people are creating content, man. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
If Matt hits you up and wants to live stream with you, be sure not to charge him anything.
I was going to say, I wasn't going to bring that up, but I was going to start this by saying this might be our last one together because you guys are getting a little expensive for me.
Yeah,
your fees, your speaking fees are ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, that's too
Matt's
good.
like, all right, moving on.
Yeah, I was like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, no, we don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about
it. Are those Pit Viper sunglasses? These, dude, yeah, Pit Viper sunglasses. Psych. When's the last time you heard the word psych?
It's been a while.
Yeah, so these are Target specials, like $12.93 at Target. But I have some fake Pit Vipers, some knockoffs. Those are the white ones I wear.
You didn't do the LEDs.
I got those too. I got the LEDs. I got those. Mr.
Hey, we
Sweaty,
got
Yo, what's up? What's up?
Oh, sorry. Keep saying hi to chat real fast.
Romanian Dan, CryptoHeartBeat. What's the best way to contact you regarding an idea?
Twitter DM.
Twitter DMs, CryptoHeartBeat, HART.
Yeah.
HART.
Hey, David Lee's
Lee, what's up?
David Lee's in the chat. What's up?
David
Sandy
B.
Lee.
Oh, of course, Sandy B's here.
Sandy B. Oh, okay. We're
Bit
gonna
Finesse,
have to
the degenerate Bit Finesse. He's in the house.
Bit Finesse. Yes, we got so many good people in the chat. This is awesome, man. What a awesome welcome back.
Yeah, this is great. Max is in.
Sweaty?
What's up, Max?
And completion fails.
All right, I've got some news.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I've got some news. Yeah, so we literally minutes before we went live, if you've been following the V2 of the test net, you know that there's been some challenges and they got things rebooted. There was some third party things running against the blocks that it kind of froze things up. Well, that's all been unfrozen, and we got our test pulse, which it takes 500,000 test pulse just to get registered validator. And so minutes before we came on, we are officially in the validator registration list. So very exciting for us. We've been working on this for a long time, and Ray, my dev, has been head down on it. So this is really exciting.
Have you interviewed Ray yet?
We need to. I keep him in a closet right now because
smart.
he needs to stay in the dark.
It's probably cold in there too. He's in there with the servers.
Well, if he was, no, if he we use the cloud, but he we got to keep him cold though. He'll fall asleep on you.
Well, anything else? I know there's some other news we have, but is there something else you want to talk about before you move on to that? I don't want to go over things too quickly. We want this to be a slow burn.
Okay, well, why don't you let me know when to give the second piece of news, because I don't want to blow it all here at the beginning.
Okay. Well, are you done with the validator news? I mean, dude,
yeah,
I know we're kind of moving on to the next thing, but this is not just like, oh, you filled out paperwork and then you heard back. You got a letter in the mail. Like, this has been a ton of work over what, months?
Well, we had to do it on the testnet V1 first, and then obviously you had to redo it in testnet V2. But because the minimum is 500,000 test pulse, you can only get like one pulse from the faucet a day, and so you have to actually go through the primary devs for the PulseChain in order to get the test pulse to be registered. And so there's a bit of we didn't realize it, but there's a bit of a approval process in order to get yourself in the registration list. And so we've passed that hurdle, and so we're in the list. And so I've been waiting for this because we're going to make a video on what this looks like and how it's set up, and I'll get Ray on the stream and stuff. So just an exciting milestone for us.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So I take it all these unsavory comments in chat are rags to riches, fam.
There's no question about it.
Okay. All right. I'm not putting them up on the screen. This is family friendly for the most part, except for some of the insults.
If you're hunting boar, bring a sidearm, a powerful one, and train drawing it for me. Dude, did you guys see that picture that I shared on Twitter?
Oh yeah, it's huge.
No.
Dude, right, I'm gonna share my screen. I'll share my screen.
Warzilla.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. Look at this thing.
It's not sharing.
No,
it's not sharing.
I gotta bring
You're having
it
the
up.
same problem I did. Oh my gosh.
Look at the size of that thing, dude.
Let's hope that's what it looks like.
That cannot be real.
No, it's called Borzilla. It's like in South Georgia, dude. Check it out. That dude has survived so many gunshots. I'm not talking about the kid. I'm talking about that beast, man. Look at that boar's mouth.
Wow.
Good God.
Well, you know,
apparently, like that thing, the kid tried to shoot it with the rifle. He shot his rounds out. He missed. So that thing was charging him. So he cracked it with the 9mm, dude. That actually looks like a revolver he's got in his damn hand. Can you imagine that thing charging you, dude? Wrecked.
What's crazy is that kid's 400 pounds.
The kid is?
Shows you the scale of how big that is. So you know what I realized? If I go hunting boar, I'm just bringing bit finesse. I don't need any of that.
Bitfiness, I feel like after he made this comment, he spit a wad of chewing tobacco out on the sidewalk.
Totally.
All right, I'm gonna unshare.
Nice.
Stop sharing. Okay.
Oh, here, I'll stop sharing it.
I got it.
So Rags, can you tell us? I don't know if we want to move on to it this quick. We're 12 minutes in. That's plenty of time. Can you tell us about Christmas?
Oh, that's big.
All right, so here's cool stuff, right? So a lot of stuff has happened. We did the Rags to Riches Christmas drive. We ended up raising about like $7,600 total. I got all the money out starting this week. I pulled out cash, had a stack of cash, really, really big. And actually, I can show you guys that too, because I shared it earlier. But anyway, I had a window of opportunity today to be able to deliver that. And I will share that real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Twitter, share. So there I am. And you can enable that. You got that?
Yep. It's a little bit sluggish on this
side. And if we scroll down here a little bit, here's the stack of cash.
Wow.
Dang.
So the cool thing was, like, I'd never really held that much cash in my hand at one time. Like, I know that Krypto Panda is used to that because he smuggles narcotics across the southern border. But otherwise, I mean, that's where he's been this whole time. But that was kind of cool. So I go to his house, right? And I'll stop sharing that. Go to his house. I've got my Santa outfit on. I got the camera crew there. And I knock on the door. And he kind of looks out the shades. He was like, who is this guy? This giant. I am a giant Santa Claus. I am giant. Like, I'm 6'3". Like, I'm kind of intimidated. Like, who's about to rob me type thing. So he opens the door. He's like, bro, what's up, man? I'm like, what's up? And I'm dapping him up. He lets me in the house. And I said, yeah, he's got his little girl there. And he's like, all right. I said, let's go to the table, the kitchen table in there. And I sit down, and the whole story was that I was doing a music video for him because he's a performing artist. And I was just going to hook him up and make a video for him. So that's how I was able to get interviews with him, etc. So we go, and I'm like, listen, man, I'm going to break it to you. We're not doing a music video. And he kind of looks at me. He's got his girl in his lap. He's like, what do you mean? Oh. I said, we're not doing a music video. I said, and then I went into the fact that the Hex community, who we were, the Pulse community, who we were. And I talked about us deciding to bless somebody for Christmas, and we chose him. So I had this little satchel kind of in my lap to where he couldn't see it. He was across the table from me. So I take out a little pinch of 20s, right? And I take the 20s and I just slap it on the table. I'm like, dude, we wanted to raise this for you. We wanted to hook you up. Merry Christmas, bro. And he kind of looks at it. He's like, thanks, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I take another pinch out, slap it on the table. And then he's like, oh, wow. And he looks at his girl. He's like, he's trying to get his girl involved, like being appreciative. He's like, yeah. Look what thank you so much. That's awesome. That's a lot of freaking money. It's like 2, 3. And then I just started going. Boom.
Oh.
Boom. Boom. And I look at his face, and his face, he's like smiling and like putting on a little bit of show. And all of a sudden you see his face just go.
Yeah, of course.
He was like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, this is all for you. And I'm talking, this is all for you, man. Boom. Boom. For literally probably 45 seconds straight, I'm just pulling 20s out and slapping it down on the table. Wow. And he was like, you're going to make me cry, but I don't know what to do. He was in complete shock. After all is said and done, his whole half of his kitchen table was filled with 20s. And I pushed it all around like that. And then I collected it all up, and he's just like, he can't process it. It's like cognitive dissonance gone. And I stack them up, and I'm like, here, dude, hold it, fan it out for the cameraman. So he takes half the stack, which is about this big of 20s, and he gives it to his little girl, and he takes the other one. He's like, man, I've never done this in my life. And he's like, let's make it rain, baby. So let's make it rain. So I'm really excited. The production crew, they're going to take that video. I was actually up until about 3 or 4 a.m. last night talking to them and going over the videos, the parts we wanted, this and that. So we're going to try to get this knocked out pretty quick and share this video with you guys before Christmas. I'm excited to tell the whole story on video for you. So it was a smashing success. Thank you so much. Thank you, Krypto Panda. Thank you, CryptoHeartBeat. You guys helped promote this in a huge way, and everybody in the community rallied around just like we thought they would, because it's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks to everyone. Bitfinesse with that super chat from last time that got donated. So man, what a cool thing. And that must have felt so awesome.
Dude, it was like it was I was thinking about it on the way back, and I'm talking, like, my wife had come with me, and cameraman was there, and I'm like, things like this I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. The cameraman's gonna remember. My wife's gonna remember. His daughter, Mike's daughter, is gonna remember. Mike's gonna remember for the rest of their life. It's something you can't take away. And also, I felt like I was being used as part of a greater scheme. Before that idea came in my head, that was already in play. And I think Mike got rewarded for a long time, he was on the wrong path, but for a long time, he's also done the right thing. And now he's getting blessed, because when you do the right things, it comes back to you in a big way. And it came back to him. And I was happy to be a part of that. Really.
Wow.
Right on, man.
So let me remind you, I remember when you hit $2,500, how excited you were and how much money that was. And you gave him what, 7,600?
7,600.
Wow. I mean, that blows my mind.
It is crazy. And I actually stopped because, because the goal was 5,500. I didn't want it to come across the wrong way. Next year I'm going to be a little bit more prepared, and I think we're going to be able to spread that money out in a lot of different ways and help out a whole lot more people. So I'm just looking forward for you guys to see this video and see the story about Mike and his family.
Wow. Did you wear the glasses the whole time?
The what?
You wear the glasses the whole time?
Dude, yes.
You didn't let him see you bawling your eyes out?
I was gonna say,
no, dude. I don't bawl, man. I don't cry.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
What are you talking about, dude? That's crazy. Well, I got little reservoirs under here to catch the tears. And I throw that at my followers to bless them afterwards.
That's so nice. That is so nice. You really are. I mean, you're just nonstop giver. Nonstop giver.
It's the way to go, man. That's the way to go.
Better to give than receive. Way to go, dude. Way to
go. Yeah, man. It's awesome. It's what it's all about. We did this. We actually did this. We didn't talk it. We did it. All of us. Yeah. All of us did it.
So thank you. Thanks for leading it. Thanks for everyone for participating. I want to. It's kind of a bad segue, but Matt, you had some other news about PulseChain we want to talk about. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it is pretty big. So Rags, thank you very much for that. I mean, just so incredible. And I think that, leadership is big, and the fact that you went the distance with it. I mean, filming it and Santa suit and all that stuff. So kudos to you. Great job. So I do have some news. It's kind of breaking news in a way. And I think that a lot of people in the chat are going to be glad that they were here for this. This could potentially get on in history as one of the most important moments of the PulseChain. And I told you I had some news earlier, but so Ray and I have been working with devs at, with the PulseChain, and we actually know the guy who is actually going to pull the trigger on the PulseChain when it goes live. And we could not believe it, that we were talking to him, and we were like, are you the guy who actually pulls the trigger? He's like, yep. And so I was really excited about that. And I found his photo, and I think it's really cool. I'm not really doxing him, but I wanted to share this with everyone. This is really, it's breaking news. So Panda, I think you've got that actual launch photo in hand there, and this is a big deal. So this guy actually uses what's called a PulseChain 3000.
Okay.
And it's what happens is they pull the trigger on it, and it actually shoots Pulse to the moon.
Oh my
goodness. This is the guy who's actually going to do it.
That's unreal. So I mean, I know we don't want to dox the there might be a name on the uniform there.
Yeah, but he's a military guy.
Oh, okay. Is it Marine, maybe?
No, he's a naval guy. He's a
Look
naval
at the
guy.
curvature on that moon, bro. Look at the curvature.
No, that's a cat's eye effect.
Fish eye lens.
So, Regs, can you what is that thing? How old are you in this photo?
Old enough to know better. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I'm probably about 21, maybe 21, 22. Yeah, right around there.
And what is that thing?
Well, it's not the PulseChain 3000.
It's not.
And that sounds like something I'd also find in the deep, dark recesses of the internet somewhere. But the PulseChain, that's a bathyothermograph. It measures density and temperature and salinity of the ocean based on depth. So that's what that actually is.
Okay.
And that's incredible. That is some breaking news.
What were you thinking? Were you really thinking that we had some news for real?
Dude, I was wondering why you were being so damn shady yesterday.
Oh my god!
You know, to be honest, it was so convincing that I didn't know we were doing the bit yet. I was like,
"Oh,
what are
really?
you?"
Oh,
no,
okay.
No, I'm totally kidding.
Okay,
dude. And let me I'm gonna look in the chat right now, and if any of y'all dumbasses in chat are making fun of me, auto ban,
no.
Rags to Riches Telegram ban.
Say whatever you want. I'll unban you.
Oh
don't listen to him. Not a flat moon.
Look at this from Schaefer. Have you seen they made a cordless PulseChain 3030?
Yeah, he doesn't have that one.
It's Bluetooth. There's a phone app.
Very good. Well, breaking news. Thank you for that. And Matt, I don't know how you kept that a secret for so long.
Yeah, it was difficult, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he showed that
I'll
image.
Get the checkmate. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, well, you got me with the Dexter, and then I had to get you back.
Dude, that's right. Well, I still stand by that.
I didn't have time. I was at my kids' school thing, so I didn't have a chance to set up new graphics other than that one. But I still got that awesome bear one.
Oh, that one's so
in
good.
In the folder. So I have a let me see. I had a couple things I wanted to talk about. Oh, I'm gonna I don't know if I can show my screen. Here, you know what? I'm gonna send this. I'll send this to you guys in chat so I want to monitor the screen. But if one of you guys wants to pull this up, it's in private chat. And I'll set it up while you're clicking on it and showing it. I know when we did the PulseChain sacrifice, and let's talk about PulseSwap here for a second, if you guys don't mind. We did the PulseChain sacrifice, and I've been out of the loop. So if this is already a known thing, then please stop me. But one of the things that I liked about the build up to the PulseChain sacrifice was that everyone was on the same page with buying Hex and then sacrificing Hex. I don't think that. Do we have a confirmed list of tokens yet? We just know Hex will be on the. Okay, cool. So, can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that link I just sent you.
Yep.
Just put that on, and we'll talk about it here in just a second. But if you are sacrificing for PulseSwap, and I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on everything, kind of being in the fray for the past couple weeks, definitely buy Hex and then plan on sacrificing the Hex. I don't have the data. I didn't follow it, but it just seemed like it did great things. And so because there's so many more people new to Hex and new to PulseChain, I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, and that's the key. If you can afford it, if you don't have a big stack, that might not be the best way for you to go. But that's what they say here in this
right
post anyway. Yeah,
that's a great point. Yeah, do whatever. But if you're new and you I can't even. I don't know about you guys, but the number of people that the number of people that I know now that I've onboarded that didn't get in on PulseChain that are excited just to be a part of any new launch of something is phenomenal. It's unreal. You guys have any thoughts about the sacrifice, about Pulse Swap, about the name PulseX?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the name.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see how carefully I pronounced it?
Yeah. You know, it's I've got a prediction, and that prediction is that I don't know that the Pulse Swap name is completely dead, but that's news for another show. But yeah, PulseX is a little concerning to me because, you know, I know the joke within the community is, you know, why it's called PulseChain, and then to have it be, you know, PulseX is, yeah, it is what it is. And Richard said it before. He could call it anything, and it's fine. But what's concerning to me is we've been spending the last 4 months talking about a thing called Pulse Swap, and my concern, is is that confusing to the community? But when it comes to the actual sacrifice itself, that's a different topic. But name wise, I honestly really don't care what it's called as long as it works.
Yeah, I agree. We have sushi swap. We've got pancake swap. We got uni swap. I mean, it's not going to matter. Pulse X. X is in, I guess, switch or cross or change or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It's fine. It'll do what it's supposed to do. It's part of the infrastructure. I think we'll be all right. I don't like it because I've been saying pulse swap for the last 2 or 3 months.
Yep.
It's an interesting time to switch it up for sure.
Yeah.
But you know what? People will call it whatever they want to call it as long as they know how to get to the domain. Then it'll be all good. You guys have any price predictions for PulseX in the first year or two?
I know Rags does. I'll tell you what Gerardo told me, and I he's the boy wonder. So to me, he has a lot of insight. But he just looked at the past, charts. He looked at Uniswap, he looked at Pancake Swap, and just looked at, and they look very, very similar. And I know this is also what Rags has mentioned, is that I'm targeting a 50 to 100x, and obviously time in the market and all that stuff is not wise in general, but being in the sacrifice and waiting the 60 days, there's been a kind of a 60-day window of where the dip happens, and then it gets to a certain point. But I think the nature of an LP token is it gets spent, meaning it's a reward and it becomes liquid, and really it's a nice hit, but it's not a 10,000 Xer. This is a utility token for liquidity providing, and it's an opportunity to see some gains, but Pulse is where it's at for me.
I think I'm pretty much on board with that. Maybe like 100 to 200x the first year. If it follows any of the previous charts, you might see a sell-off. You might see a sell-off for about 60 to 90 days, followed by a pump for 60, 90 days before it gets back to all-time highs again. And after that, it takes off. And that's if it mimics all the other ones that have launched in the past year or so. But that's my conservative estimate. I think in an awesome world, if it outperforms all the other ones, just based on the fact that we do have a really glued together community, maybe we do like a 300 or 350, maybe. And it's also going to depend on what are the details that come out about the sacrifice period. It's going to be lockup periods, or if we can find a way to prevent people from dumping initially by maybe locking their tokens up for 6 months or a year or 2 years or something, that would be nice too. So we could definitely see a large pump. So we'll see.
That's awesome.
That's good. Yeah. So I sent another link in private chat.
Okay. I'll pull it up.
Finbear will allow 200x for now. Yeah, me too. It's funny because, and the reason I want you to bring this up. Tell me when you have it. Live. I'll bring it up on the screen.
Copy link. Go here.
I love Hex. Okay, I love Hex, and I love PulseChain next. Pulse Swap, I'm excited for it because I love that we're launching with the DEX. But if I had to pick one, that's my least favorite, I think it's Pulse Swap, and it's not. I'm always open to being I'm always open to being incorrect, for new information, to show up along these lines. But looking at every other DEX coin or every other swap coin, they seem to have this run up, then there's a dump, and then they have sometimes they have a little bit of legs. But I think Pancake Swap is the one that, or Cake, I should say, is the one that I looked at in quick swap tokens that had the most. Someone correct me in chat if I'm wrong, but that has had the most sort of growth. But you know what? I blame Richard Hart. I blame Hex. Everything to me is a promise coin unless it has yield.
Yeah.
And even when it comes to PulseChain, PulseChain is highly speculative just because it's a chain, it's a blockchain. Out of the gates, and even now, leading up to getting out of the gates, I'm just looking for yield. I'm looking for delegating stake to validators. I'm looking for any way that I can earn yield on that PulseChain. And I'm still, I'm trying to learn as much about DEXs as I possibly can, and those, and those things. But unless Richard and the team have some tricks up their sleeve, I'm just trying to find out where the yield is on a DEX token. And Richard Hart himself. I mean, this has been such an interesting 6 to 8 months hearing Richard Hart say something, talking about duct taping tokens onto DEXs, and then here we have one. And in some cases they do those in airdrops, and in this case we're sacrificing for it. So I'm not fudding it or anything. I'm definitely sacrificing for it, but to me it looks like a highly speculative and until I see different information. And I was actually, it's tough. It's tough being in the Hex community and saying anything real sometimes. And I like that Crypto Coffee said this. And you look down below you don't have to scroll or anything, but he basically is saying this, we've got a lot of products that we can be excited about, but he says, I don't think PulseX will outperform Pulse or Hex after the next macro bear cycle. That's probably not what you want to hear, and he says he's not trying to FUD, he's just being realistic. And so, but what I will say is genius. And this is the genius of Richard Hart, is that he gave us something else to talk about while behind the scenes they're continuing to build PulseChain, which is going to be absolutely incredible. So I love that we signed on for Hex, and less than a year later, we got 4 tokens. We got two versions of Hex. We got PulseChain, and now we got the Pulse Swap.
Well, one thing I want to, one of the things, and this is really what Brandon has said as well, is that the PulseChain or the Pulse Swap itself, or the LP token, is a good example of when is the best time to get into anything. And Brandon always says the beginning, right? And I just imagine, you got a buddy, it's 1910 or whatever, and he's like, hey, we're going to put cocaine in with our cola. We're going to call it Coca-Cola.
Best time to get in, day one, Coca-Cola.
Best time to get in. We're going to put cocaine in our cola. It was like, you think that's going to work? And, you think about day one on Coca-Cola, same thing with day one on anything. And I think that's the thing that we have to have perspective. I was trading futures and getting wrecked. And, you think about that, that concept. I was excited about a 10%, 20% gain, right? And I think what's so funny is we've been so spoiled that, we're looking at something. I'm targeting a 50x. And what's funny is people are like, well, that's really low. You're being, it's kind of FUD. This. When was the last time somebody said to you, all right, if you give me $1, I'll give you $2. How many times you want to do it? And people are like, let's do it all day long. Well, same thing here. I mean, the fact that you have an opportunity, and of course, this isn't financial advice. We don't provide financial advice. And why would you take any financial advice for a guy who wears sunglasses? But I will say that 50 to 100x, I mean, it's crazy that we talk about it as if it's not a big deal. I understand in relationship to other financial instruments and what our expectations are, but this is an amazing time we live in. I mean, when was the last time you ever had multiple opportunities to look at things that could have the kind of gains we're talking about? This to me it's a revolution.
And think about
50 to 100x is the runt of the litter.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Think about right now, all the people that are currently in cryptocurrency across across all projects. How many of those people have been afforded the opportunity to get in before a project launches? If you could assign a percentage of that, like 2%, 1%, maybe 1% of all those people.
Yep.
So this is the cool part. We've got PulseChain, we've got PulseX. Okay, so those are two opportunities that most everybody in the world doesn't get. Yep. So as much as some people say it's not going to outperform out this, that, there's also to be something to be said about kind of maybe diversifying things a little bit and splitting up some of your money in two different projects. Maybe one's running because it's used a lot. Maybe one's dipping a little bit, but ultimately you're going to get incredible opportunities on both for sure.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And, you know, this period of time that we're coming into is, I mean, it's a miracle to me when it comes to people have an opportunity to change the circumstances. And I've been having some really good discussions with folks about, you know, just their situation and how Hex and Pulse and all this has provided hope for them in a time when there hasn't been a whole lot of hope. And, you know, that's the thing I get excited about, is how the community is encouraged and people have something to focus on. And there's so much more that this represents than just, you know, financial gain. And it's something that galvanizes the community in a way that, you know, we should never seen before. And I think we're going to look back at this time. We're going to tell stories about it. We're going to literally say, you know, you were a part of that. And, you know, I look at what Richard has done with the concept of sacrifice. And so, you know, there was ICOs in the past and all of these things. You got to understand, he actually blazed a trail with this concept of sacrificing for free speech. And whether it holds up or not, we'll see. But people have been trained with this. So think about the projects that are going to come. I think Liquid Loans is going to do one. There's going to be 10 to 50 more projects that come that are going to use this conceptually. And you're going to know when you hear sacrifice or something like this, that means day one. And, you know, you have to obviously do your own research. But what's so amazing is this is only getting started, guys. We got a whole new chain with a bunch of projects, and they're going to take a page out of Richard's book and do these kind of sacks. And we're going to get to participate in them. And, you know, when I talked to Bally Brand, he's like, "Oh yeah, back in Hex, you guys put in $100 and it turned into $1 million." And I mean, I was like, I was stammering. And, you know, for me, that's just doesn't exist, man. It's so great. So those are my 2 cents.
Agreed. And WR football here, you know, the last part of this, dude, I agree 100%. That's why, you know, I'm not trying to FUD on it. It's just like, we got enough products where we got to say, I mean, you love all your kids the same, but when it comes to this, you know, and the things that we're talking about, but I don't do it anymore, but I used to be the pre-sale chaser, you know, and that's such a scary game to play. It's also kind of exciting, but I don't know. Maybe people understand this, but it's just unbelievable to me that we get to be a part of these pre-sales with the Hex community, like with Richard Hart and the devs and this many people that are excited about something. Any other pre-sale thing I'd ever been in was either someone else trying to siphon off another community, you know, that everyone was late to some other thing. And so they decided to launch this new thing, or they're kind of trying to feel each other out. Everyone's just like, please don't rug pull, don't scam or whatever. And in this case, we know it's not going to rug pull. We know it's not a scam. We know that there's a bunch of people that are sitting around excited about it and have data and history and experience with these developers, with this community to push it forward. And so it's not even just, you know, cocaine and Coca-Cola on day one. It's the heads up. It's the heads up that there's already distributors and places to sell it. You know, the best time to drink it or sell it was day one.
Yeah. We put Justin's comment up there. Justin F.
Yeah, let me find it. I gotta look for it.
Yeah.
Is that it?
I bet you gotta look for it.
Is that it?
Baby.
Is that his comment?
God bless America.
Hang on, let me
find it. So Justin F says, he's like, LOL, I don't just sack to anyone, bro. Richard Hart is different, and others are trying to capitalize on the trust you got for him. You know what's interesting about that, and I'll just commentary on that. I understand being a Richard Hart maximalist. I get it. But he's given us the gift of a new chain, and he's given us a community of smart people. I'm not suggesting you throw money at stupid stuff. Do your own research, right? But here's the interesting thing. I mean, you may not have much money, and I don't know what you define as much money. But when someone comes in and authentic people with genuine stuff with the right, and as I do my research, I'm going to support people in the community that are legit, that come through, allow themselves to be vetted, have conversations with the community. I'm going to do my research, but guess what? I'm going to support projects that I like, even if Richard Hart isn't the founder. Why? Because if I lost $100 out of my back pocket on the road, I'd keep walking. And if you can't put $100 into support a thing, maybe we need to put you on the Christmas list for next year.
Makes sense. Yeah, I agree. And it's what, when I started doing when I did a couple streams or a couple videos about some projects that were going on, it was just coming from the place of wanting to, if I had an idea and I was launching something, at least wanting a chance. Like being a Hexakin, sacrificing for PulseChain, and then creating something on there. It's weird how people, I understand that people are careful, but a lot of, and you should always be careful. But some of these people that are launching projects now and in the future will be Hexakins that want to get involved, that want to do something. And so, for better or worse, they are going to have to not necessarily dox themselves, but they're going to have to, they won't be able to be anonymous because no one's gonna trust them in that regard. But on the other side of it, if you are a Hexakin and you're active in the community and you're launching something, why would you be anonymous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look at VCs too. VCs will take, the whole premise of venture capital is, we're taking risks early on. We put money in. We hope we get 1 out of 10 that makes it, a 10x, right? We want one that's going to pop, right? And I was thinking about this. When was the last time you had an opportunity to see deals from day one, and you actually had money to put in that could be meaningful, right? And I jokingly use $100 because to me, it's not a large amount of money. And if I lost it, I wouldn't worry about it. But the idea that 1 out of 10, and that I can play the role as venture capitalist with $100 that could turn into $1 million, every single one that's legit, I'm going to be a part of. 1, to encourage the people doing it, but 2, I don't want to miss out on a pop, and if I lost on every single one of them, what do I care? I like the game. And so that's my approach. And that's not financial advice. That's my opinion. But I don't FUD on people who aren't Richard Hart. I actually analyze people for their legitimacy and what they put up, and their because I don't think that Richard Hart's the only person in the world that is reputable.
Yeah, I mean, what's $100? That's the same as it costs you to send coins to yourself on Ethereum right now.
I got a stake that's ended. It cost me $414 to close the stake.
I just did one as well. It was for my
crypto.
What's that?
He had a K4K Crypto had a comment up.
Oh yeah. Let me put it up.
He says, you guys think PulseX sacrifice will get more money sacked versus the PulseChain sacrifice? No way. I don't think so. And I think that's because you think about PulseX was just kind of dropped. Like it was kind of spoken about a little bit beforehand. But I don't think as much of a big deal has been made about it. I think that we'll definitely have more money sacrificed for PulseChain than PulseX, simply because of the exposure. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, 100%, 1,000%. I mean, if you figure $670 million was sacrificed for PulseChain, it's the entire chain doing something that's never happened before with the system state. I mean, this is an LP token. I think people are going to get into it and see, and hopefully see it for what it is. There will be some people who ape into it because they may believe in it, but I just want to be careful. I'm not giving anyone any financial advice to sacrifice to anything, but I will say it's cool when Richard's doing something. I do give it a lot of, it's got a lot because he's got a huge community behind him.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I gotta give them what they want. No, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, with the PulseChain sacrifice, because we had so long to wait. I don't know about you guys, but I ended up putting 6 times what I was uncomfortable, like a number that I was uncomfortable sacrificing. And it ended up being 6 times that much because it just kept going. I was like, man, this is so awesome. Not financial advice. Don't do that. But yeah. And so I see this being, well, the other thing is everyone's been buying dips. They've been buying Hex dips for the past, for the past several months. So we'll see. I do think it will be successful. I do think that there's a reason to be excited about it. I'm so excited to see, what it looks like. And I've spent, like I said, I've been researching some of the other dexes and checking out, looking at Trader Joe and Spooky Swap, the things on Avalanche. And I, my apparently my boring video that I did yesterday, I've been looking at these ohm forks and seeing what the ohm forks and the rebase tokens are doing for the Avalanche system. And I mean, I watched the stream this morning, and it's one thing you try to keep up with crypto in general. And I was just like, I started learning about Avalanche and I didn't know anything about it. And then on this crypto stream, everyone was saying the same thing. Like nobody was even talking about it months ago. They were talking about Polkadot and Cardano and these other things. And it's not one thing, but it's this, but the rebase tokens and the ohm forks and Danny Sesta have sort of helped make Avalanche this player. And Avalanche didn't have 10,000 ERC20 copies. It didn't have the genius behind this massive airdrop. So as I've been watching other projects in the space, I think I've told you guys this, I've mentioned this on stream. It's made me more excited and more enthusiastic about promoting PulseChain because it's not going to be an easy ride. There's some good chains out there, but PulseChain is going to be the best. It's going to be the best out there. It has as good, if not a better chance of anything out there. So on top of the airdrops, I want to see some, I don't know if it's a new category, but ownership of category on PulseChain. And I think it's absolutely doable. Again, we've got this community of people. We have people that are building something in advance of it being launched because they're Hexkins, because they're stoked about Richard Hart, the community, and everything else. I mean, couldn't be more excited.
Absolutely. Matt, I wanted to talk to you about something. If you could, Krypto Panda, share my screen there for me.
Oh no.
For real, or you want to? Should we do
no,
the
for real?
It's
nothing crazy. So check this out. So this was a tweet from today. Alex Bachman. He's a guy from the New York Giants. Okay, so we know who Matt's going to interview on Monday at 6 a.m. But
that's right.
Here's something we need to talk about, though. But Matt, you interviewed Justice Hill. I interviewed Justice Hill. You've interviewed Keelan Doss, right?
Yeah.
So these are some folks that have access to capital and resources that most people don't. And also they have access to other people that have resources that most people don't. And I just want to shout these guys out because they've got a whole lot more to lose, putting themselves on the line, putting themselves out there in terms of cryptocurrency with the amount of publicity that they can get at any given time. I think it's really cool that they're making this public. All three of those guys that we've talked to, and even them allowing us to kind of chat with them about it. And what are your thoughts, Matt? Do you see this being something that's going to just keep going and going and going and picking up pace?
Oh, there's no question. Yeah, and if you get a chance to see that interview with Keelan Doss, he's a neat guy and neat story. And you know what I really like about it is seeing guys like Justice Hill and folks caring about their teammates and really talking about things about, hey, you need to think about your future. And especially these young guys who, they go from being high school stars in football to having a ton of money. And, we've all heard the stories of guys that just wasted all of that. And so to know that there are folks out there that are watching out for them, and then, having this kind of resource at this time, a lot of people, you work really hard and you kind of incrementally save money that you can invest. And these guys, you're right, have a significant amount they can influence so many. And that's the thing I think that is the big thing, is that what drives virality, right? We're the pre-viral show. And I think that, why is Richard Hart wearing Louis Vuitton, and why is he buying Rolexes and doing all that stuff? Because he wants to borrow from those brands. Well, these athletes, sport, in my opinion, cuts across a lot more than just these big brands. I mean, the personalities of people that are in athletics, it's global. And, I think that musicians and, just popular people in general feeling welcome in our community, I think I would encourage anybody that's watching this, if you see anything with any of these celebrity status athletes, and that, be encouraging, because, if people give them a hard time, they're not going to feel comfortable, going on and doing interviews and sharing and all this stuff. And we can help normalize that and show them that they're welcome in our community. So yes, I agree with you 100%.
I think Justice Hill made a good point. I said, what are your financial advisors and people like that saying about you investing in cryptocurrency? And he kind of paused for a second. He looked at me. He's like, it doesn't matter. It's my money. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, dude, here's the other thing. The narrative is changing. We're going from scam to safe. Like
Yes.
This is the athletes and celebrities that are not being paid to jump into this coin, because they're not. They're telling each other. They're doing it because they've deemed it as a solid and a safe crypto investment. I don't. That is so huge. Sorry about the air brakes. That is so huge. That is so huge, and that's what will continue to make this viral. Not because Diplo puts out does a tweet because he charged whatever, or anything like that. It's because these guys are legit. I love that. Like, I'm flattered when I get followed by these guys. I got followed by NFL players. I got followed by what's his name? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill the DJ
Arms
from
sweaty, knees weak, arms arms There's vomit on the sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous.
It's killing me. But I'm like, yeah, they're following a cartoon panda. If they knew me in real life, I'm a horrible person,
dude.
But in
Keelan loves you, man. Keelan loves you. And what's funny is you deserve the credit, by the way, for that interview, because when you said he followed you, I'm like, I just literally threw him up in the air and said, hey, I'd love to interview you. And he responded like in 15 minutes. And the next thing you know, we're on.
Yeah, they're excited.
So kind.
They're excited. Matt, great point about welcoming them, because they're going to see it as fun. But this and I'm sorry, I don't know who you had on the other night. I sort of jumped to the middle. You had someone on, and you guys were talking about just removing the scam narrative, and I love that idea. You know what I'm talking about? It was a Saturday Night Live thing. No, it wasn't Saturday night.
I think Rags was talking about it, about removing the scam narrative and moving.
Yeah, just like it's not. I mean, trust me, I've been looking at some other stuff the past few weeks, like just kind of jumping off the Hex Ranch and looking out what else is going on there, really for PulseChain research and trying to figure out like what else is going on. There's stuff that easily makes Hex, and I don't mean like rug pull stuff. I just mean when you look at it on paper, you're like, there's no freaking way that's real. That makes the Hex's 40%, or 3.69%, but ends up being 37-40%. Look like look perfect. And I don't want to say I don't know a better word than stable, but look like a safe, solid investment. I mean, it's a safe, solid investment. So we're just getting there. It's this I live in Costa Rica. Down here, they have a saying, poco a poco, little by little. So each one of these streams, each of the videos that you do, each of the interviews that you guys are doing, every insult that you sling, Rags, at your audience, it's all helpful. It's all helpful.
It's
great to see it working.
That's not the intent, is it?
Yes, that's the intent.
Oh, that's great.
Especially Bitfinex. Screw that guy.
Well, one thing I do want to share. Bitfinex.
Dude,
yeah.
Somebody texted me. Can I show you guys this? He's just texted me, rest in peace. He's watching the stream right now. He said, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, because that's on the internet forever.
Yes. Well, let me tell you something else that would be really encouraging. So I've got a guy who doesn't want to be, he's a lurker. He's not in the chat, not ever, never public. You don't ever see him make a comment. And he's been reaching out to me because he does research for a hedge fund in Boston. And he's a senior guy at a hedge fund. And he's in the sacrifice for Pulse.
Wow.
And they're in traditional stuff. I mean, they do, a lot of research and analytics and stuff on crypto. But it's so cool that there are all these people who are, it's almost like they don't want to, obviously they can't really afford to be public, but there's a lot of interest from, institutional folks. We're getting really close. And when you say, the safe thing, let's not forget that Richard designed this to be like a certificate of deposit or a time deposit. And if you think about the genius of that long term is every single bank's got a CD. And you think about the future of this product when it comes to where are you going to put your money for yield? And, as we're still riding high on this, at least on the, securities equities market in the US, but this is going to pop as well. And so where does the money go so that it doesn't get eaten up by inflation? And I think we're going to see crypto get a ton of influx of institutional money, and these people are watching. And it's cool because I feel like they hand over information to you. They're like, as encouragement, they're like, guys, you're on the right track, and that to me is super encouraging.
That's very encouraging.
It's one of the things I love. I know that there are, I know people don't like the term OGs. I don't care if you like it or not, but people that were here earlier, and some of those meetings that are taking place, they're swinging big, as they should be. And they're talking to big hitters. They're not trying to get the Moon Kitties or the DeFi degens, which are great too. All are welcome. But that's also the benefit of having the strength of this community behind any Richard Heart product is that there's now multiple things to look at. There's an ecosystem that's being built, and so they're able to have serious talks with with that kind of money. And I know that in crypto, it's kind of a tricky thing. Some people don't like that you discuss institutional investors coming in. They think that it's it's letting what's the saying? Letting the fox in the hen house or whatever. In that regard. But you know what? That guy, the guy from the VC, from the hedge fund, he can be quiet. We'll take his money. We don't need to know who he is. It's fine. You don't need to be face forward with a cute cartoon or some cool glasses or a nice studio with great Christmas tree lights in the background to be a part of this. Just come in or don't. I mean, I never try to tell people what they should or shouldn't do. But I think that people are smart and they're paying attention, and they're not listening to the open face friggin' crypto influencers on YouTube. They're listening to smart people that have had success, that are serious about what this actually is. It's happening. I mean, it literally is poco a poco. It's little by little. It's coming, and maybe it's not happening as fast as people want. But that's the best thing about staking. Just sit back. We get paid every day.
That's right.
Yeah. We're moving away from the scam narrative, but also we are redefining what normal is. Yep. We're moving away from the middlemen, how much money they made off the backs of everybody, to this new way, the smart contract way. And we can cut those folks out. And when we see 40% APY, when you see 80% APY, most people run and they say, well, that's a scam. Well, the more they see it and the more it comes true, the more normalized it will become. And we're just part of that process right now. Fortunately, a lot of the folks that are listening to the stream, you, me, Panda, Matt, all that, we're in on the ground level, and we're doing our best to spread the word. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. We just got to create the new normal. That's important.
Great point. Matty Allen, thanks for coming by. By the way, if you've not gotten your Hex conference tickets yet, get them. Get your Hex conference tickets.
Yeah, I'm intending to. What's funny is my daughter's going out for a gymnastics competition in Vegas the week before. So I haven't broken the news to my wife that I'm staying. That's going to be interesting. So
I'll break the news to her. Just I'll
yeah,
call her, let her know.
good
If I
luck with
call her,
that.
it'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Right?
Dude, I'm trying to think of what would be an appropriate bit of news that I'd want you to deliver to my wife,
Yeah.
Rags, and I can't. I think
Guys,
I'd choose Matt for everything, good or bad.
I will be so respectful. I'm so good with other people's wives. No disrespect. That sounds bad.
Wow.
But I'm good about that.
No, I bet you
when
would.
what was it like back in the day with your buddy, like he's got a girlfriend or your buddy gets married, but everybody else is single.
Yeah.
And your buddy's like, dude, if I ask her, there's no way in hell she's gonna let me go out.
Right.
Why don't you ask her, Davis? All right, let me call her up.
Eddie
Hey,
Haskell.
like it's really important to me. I haven't seen him in a long time. I haven't told him that I'm calling you right now, but if you could find it in your wretched little heart and let him out, that would be great.
You're that guy. That's awesome, man. That's a good friend to be.
That's what you got to do, man. You got to hustle the hustlers, man. Come on now.
Well, because you know, if you're that person for your friends, that means you're good on both sides. Because if she's like, yeah, since he called,
Yep.
you know, if you're with him, it's all good.
Well, and the wives, they always say, "Oh, you're going out with that guy," because they're afraid that he's going to drag you into trouble. But
right.
if you can be really schemy and secretive about all the bad things you do when you're out with your friends, then she trusts you. You're good to go. You're 100%.
Dude, I love by the way that we're talking about a good thing, but you still make it sound seedy, schemy, and secret. If you can find a really good way to lie to them.
Yeah, manipulation. It's always the best.
Guys, I'm just doing what all of you guys have done. You're just afraid to admit it on stream.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right. That's why.
Knows. Yeah, man. Thanks, Bitfiness. I hate you, but yes, absolutely.
Wingman.
There it is. Hey, I got a K4K Crypto has a question. Let me find it.
The wrapped.
Yeah, wrapped hex shares. What are you guys' thoughts about this? I've been thinking about this a while. Well, because it's been talked about for a while.
So I guess basically, I have an understanding based on I did a little networking in the past with Cisco, and you have these encapsulations that would allow you to jump from network to network, essentially, right? It's a special protocol, a special technology that allows you to do that. And also with those encapsulations, you can encapsulate stakes, and then you can kind of use those as collateral as well. That's also another portion of what they're trying to do. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think if we're developing technology to push things forward, that's awesome. If it falls flat on its face, it's going to fall. But we need to have those failures to learn from them and move it forward. I like anybody that's willing to push the limit.
Yeah, and the wrapped coin coming over. I mean, as we bridge over value, Richard's excited about. Yeah, I'm excited about providing liquidity. I mean, there's a benefit to that, but in order to get things over in the bridge, right? My understanding is that you have to wrap that value to get it over. And think about how many people have ERC20 coins that aren't hex and have a lot of it, and see this as an opportunity to make, they're getting the other half of the pair for free in the V2 of Uniswap, in this case, PulseX or PulseSwap. My understanding is pushing that value over is a huge benefit to everyone, and any transaction is going to take Pulse to process. So to me, I mean, bring it on.
Yeah.
And we're shifting that capital.
I mean, you talk about pushing value. What about shooting it out of a gun?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's pretty.
The developers are ready. I mean, this guy's ready.
Hide your wives. That's all I got to say.
So I think my take on it, thanks for asking, gentlemen, is that it is as soon as you can encapsulate stakes, everyone's gonna Quattro Cinco. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? I mean, why wouldn't you do that if it effectively gives folks an out? I think the other, it doesn't give you an out, but it kind of does, and I think that early on, it was discussed in the context of of things like Grayscale being able to wrap massive stakes and then sell shares, to companies against it and then never sell it. But even in crypto now, you're looking at things like with Abracadabra money, you can collateralize, you can stake Wonderland, you get memo, then you can wrap the memo, and then you can actually collateralize that and get, what Liquid Loans is doing. And yet it's still gaining its APY, it's still gaining its interest. So I think that there was, I don't know if you guys saw when it first came out. I can't remember the name of the website that was doing it, but a lot of people didn't like the idea until Richard Hart sort of warmed up to it. They just thought like, well, I mean, it was kind of, it's all new stuff. These were a lot of people that were, what's that?
Synthetics.
Is that who it was?
I think synthetic. Well, synthetics
it was
is
called
wrapping.
like Hex Bay. It was called Hex Bay or something. Yeah, something like that. But it was again, all these new things in crypto, you got to kind of you got to wrap your head around a new narrative. You need to open your mind. And there was people who, for the most part, a lot of them had been doing like monthly stakes, and now here's someone coming along going like, no, we're gonna wrap them, and you can have it for 15 years. And they're like, but like that guy in like the guy in, what was it? Dumb and Dumber. That's like, no, it's 7-minute apps. It's like, no, you gotta kind of open your mind to the possibilities. And I mean, how cool is it that people will be able to buy Hex stakes on any other chain? I mean, that's a good point. It's awesome. I mean, clearly we all want adoption on PulseChain, but to be able to buy a wrapped Hex stake on another chain, it helps Hex. And
well, we're transferring value and capital from one chain to another chain. Where ultimately PulseChain is going to be the huge benefactor of that. If we have mechanisms to be able to transfer that and systems to be able to move that money from one to the other, that's awesome. So we have an encapsulated something on the ETH chain. We move it over, it expires, they do good accounting or whatever the case may be. That money potentially stays on the Pulse chain. It's removed from one and put on the other. Huge. So
great point.
Huge. That's the end goal. Yeah.
Yeah. So Magnus, good to see you. Want to say hi to some Terrafin. Thanks so much, man. It's so good to be back. Yeah.
Terrafin, you have no idea what that did for Krypto Panda.
He needed the encouragement.
Missed you.
No, bro. You know what? I like it. I appreciate that. But the Matt, the little video clip you sent me from your interview, that made my day. I'm just gonna play that on loop all weekend. Lord Hex-a-lot, good to see you. Hexagon Tony, Bitfinesse. Have you guys heard of this guy, Bitfinesse?
Yeah.
He's around.
He was in an airplane hangar last night smoking a cigar. I didn't know what was going on.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was. He's a weird dude. Weird character.
I like this comment. Where is it? Hang on a second. I clicked and unclicked. Come on, Restream. It's my computer. My computer is hot right now. All right, well, let's keep this up. I've been waiting for these to come out since I first heard of them. Just wish there was more flexibility, like changing % to sell whenever you want. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to see. Apparently, Firebun already has the code, and they will be available via Staker app. So we'll get to see what they are. I mean, it's like anything. We'll see what it looks like, and then some people will try it out with some stuff. You know what I love about PulseChain is that we're actually going to get to try something out in a cheap way. It is. I have basically, other than buying and staking and end staking, I had to end a stake for my daughter. My daughter sold some NFTs and she had a stake, and that just came up. And so we restaked for her birthday, 3 years from now. And I was just sitting there like, oh man, I hope this isn't too much. I didn't care what it was, because it's hers. Yeah. She made the money herself. I didn't care what it was. I was going to pay for it. Doesn't matter. And it wasn't too bad. But I was like, I'm celebrating $120 gas fee. I felt like I got away with something. But to be able to just be like, on a dip, just go, yeah, I'll buy $50 worth. I'll buy $50 worth of Hex. I'll buy $150 worth of Hex. Like, it's it's going to be so massive. It's going to be so huge to be able to do that.
Yeah. I want to bring, unless you have anything else to add there, Matt?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I wanted to bring this up because I just find it incredibly hilarious. I shared something, and let me see if I can actually share that. It was Elizabeth Warren, and she's a senator from, where is she from?
Who cares?
Who cares? She says
Massachusetts,
yeah,
I think.
Stable coins pose risks to consumers and to our economy. They're propping up one of the shadiest parts of the crypto world, DeFi, where consumers are least protected from getting scammed. Our regulators need to get serious about clamping down before it's too late. Matt, you're smiling. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, one of the big issues with DeFi too is this whole idea of you're encroaching on banking, right? And Elizabeth Warren is very concerned about regulating the banks, right? She's been so anti banking, and people at Goldman Sachs and the big banks do not like Elizabeth Warren because she's coming after them. I think she is seeing, people are operating like banks in providing loan type of products against collateralized crypto, and it's a free for all. And I think that she's on a mission to attack the banks any way they possibly can, and I think it's an easy target. And so when it comes to the actual coins, I mean, I don't think that that's the beauty of the US government, doesn't move very quickly. And so, she's going to be barking. And at the end of the day, I think that, we're going to see some major regulations. The first one being in 2023 with basically registering as brokers. And that's going to create a lot of trouble. But that, whether they pass them or not, it takes time for those things to be implemented. And we've already got a threat when it comes to having to register as brokers. And 1099 anybody that does any transactions and review all those transactions. And so, people, that's the thing that's interesting about blockchain is people just go somewhere else where there's not the same kind of jurisdiction. And that's what I love about completed projects like Hex. I was doing that interview with CC from Liquid Loans, and I said, what's pretty amazing is that if you launch this and things go the way you're suggesting, it's out in the wild. You can't even take it back, and either it functions or it doesn't function. And if it functions, no one can shut it down unless they shut down the internet. And to me, that's the exciting thing. It's like this is a Pandora's box. It's already been opened, and whatever you're planning on doing, it'll pop up somewhere else. And the US is going to regulate the heck out of it. But come on, PulseChain.
What do you think?
You're right. I mean, it's every time people talk about that stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the meme with it's basically an open field and it has a sidewalk going through, and there's just a yellow gate that's just across the sidewalk part.
Yeah.
That's my favorite meme, especially for all things in regulation and crypto. We're going to go around. And I think we don't need to talk politics about this, but I think that any politician that's talking against the banks is maybe playing a game. They're all for protecting their bosses. And anytime I see any of these things come up, I just know that means it's working. That means it's working, and that they're realizing too late, actually, mentioning Pandora's box, that this game will be. They're not going to go out without a fight, but they're losing this game. I mean, I can't remember if we talked about this. I've had this conversation with multiple people, but you guys remember when it sounded weird that people weren't getting landlines?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like how weird, like they're not getting landlines. Well, I don't think that I have this feeling that my kids, or maybe even, in some generation where we're still alive, people won't even get bank accounts. And it sounds so crazy right now, but if there's another way to interact economically with things, we could see a situation where people aren't getting bank accounts. They're working with in digital completely.
It's so frustrating to me to see Elizabeth Warren, because she's been spearheading an attack on crypto for at least the past year. and I've shared some of the stuff. I've actually done reaction videos on some of her stuff in the past on YouTube. The thing that frustrates me is like, you look at no matter what administration, Wall Street continues to grow in wealth. It doesn't matter if a Republican's there. It doesn't matter if a Democrat's there. And Elizabeth Warren is straight up telling us in that video, she says Tether is not 100% backed by anything. And one of the persons she's talking to, she says, so if there's a major sell-off in crypto, is USDT going to be pegged to $1 every single time? And the lady's like, well, not necessarily. It might be 98 cents. It might be $1.02, but it's going to be. And then Elizabeth Warren just takes that and runs with it and says, well, this is unsatisfactory. You know, there's no regulation. There's nobody checking to see what type of assets are backed. This is the exact reason why we should regulate and just shut down and blah, blah. And she just starts going crazy. And I'm like, how can these words come out of your mouth when we have the highest inflation amount that we've inflated more over the past 2 years than we have in the past 70? How can those words possibly come out of your mouth? And it's because they don't really care about regulating the banks. They don't really care about regulating crypto. They just care about regulating you. And she's using this story, this heroin story to be like, I want to save all the poor people out there who are involved in DeFi and losing all their money, blah, 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 blah. What percentage of DeFi does that really make up? Who's losing all this money out here? It's the people that shouldn't be doing what they're doing anyway, which is the same as losing your money with US dollars at a gambling table. Why do they allow those? How many millions and millions of dollars can you go get? It's insanity. Politicians are just disgusting me.
I know. I saw a tweet yesterday that said the banks last year sent out $12.5 billion in overdraft fees, but we should be concerned with DeFi. Crazy. That's the problem. That's the thing that we need to save people.
And they think we're stupid. And that's why I like communities like we have here, because we can cut through all the BS, cut through it and be like, no, we're not going to do that anymore. And God, man, it fires me up when I see stuff like that.
All right. Let's talk about something else.
Thank you.
I got something to talk about.
Let's hear it.
I got a promo. So
okay.
I did an interview today with the Hexologist, and it is the greatest interview I've done to date. And I'm going to tell you, he tells stories that no one's heard before. And I'm pumping my own channel here on this, that it is going to be one to watch. It's going to come out tomorrow with the Hexologist, and he just reflects on everything, and it is so cool. He's one of the greatest guys, and big shout out to Hexo. He's just he's amazing. And so I was really, really impressed, and it was just awesome to see him share those stories that kind of give you a little insider view of the 731 gathering and just what things were like before, he even got into things. And I one of the observations that I made, as I said, he was one of the first guys to really, he's streaming for like 550 some days straight. And I said, your attitude, your personality, your inclusiveness, your warm, jovial self set the tone. And I feel like we have a lot to we have a lot to thank Hexo for, because we could have been led by somebody that was just super nerd, kind of italic types or whatever. But here's a guy who came out and he was friendly and inclusive and warm, and funny. I think when people look back, oh my gosh, his memes and all that stuff. But that's one to watch for tomorrow, is interview with Hexo. It's so cool.
Well, tune in for that, and also I'm docking your speaking fees because you promoted your own thing.
Yep,
on this
no
show.
You can have all the super chats from today's stream.
Dude, that's so harsh. No one's donating a super chat. I haven't been around. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows me.
Yeah, so K4K Crypto, I was watching a stream last night, and Funding Jim shouted you out, man. He had a whole lot of good things to say about some of the stuff that you were doing. So I made a video on encapsulated hex stakes. It allows eHex shares to be brought on any chain. for super cheap transaction fees. So you can hex exposure without gas fees.
Wow.
Among many other things.
While
Why is that
we're
not huge?
promoting other videos, I wanted to bring that one back up. So check that out for encapsulated stakes. Bifiness, I like this. You know, it's the fable with the frog and the scorpion. You know, you guys know this. The scorpion talks the frog into helping him cross the river, and he says, "If I do it, you're gonna sting me." And he's like, "No, I promise." Oh, look at Matty Allen with a super chat.
Yeah, coming through.
Matty, that's so nice, but 30% goes to Google and 65 goes to these guys. So I thank you for the 5%.
No, it's your welcome back.
So
it's your welcome back.
Thank you guys. You guys are so nice. It's totally kidding, but yeah, very cool. What was I gonna say? Oh, the frog and the scorpion. I'm not gonna say the fable. Lots of people know it. The other one that I hear is the axe talking about chopping down the trees because he says, "Hey, I'm made of wood, you know, just like you." That's another one. Look at all these super chats coming in. Are you kidding me?
Dude, that was a good setup.
Me? Was that nice? That was
awesome. Yeah,
you
you're
know
a humble
what?
guy. People want to thank you for all that you do.
It's nice. I mean, it's going back to the community.
I wish I could also ask people to remove money from the stream. It's like right now, I'd ask for that infraction, $5.55 less, please.
I can send it back. I'll send Erwin Jansen back. You know, hang on a second. We got to show some love here. So Matty Allen, thanks so much, brother. That is awesome. Pulse Lord, you rock, dude. Thank you. Bang bang. I love it. Renob Kasid. By the way,
don't give him any attention.
I know, but I have to. We got a super chat. Merry Christmas. I need the rest of the fiat for presents and Santa sacks. Renob you asked about Hako. Yeah, I've been, but not for the reasons that you might think. To Hako Beach, and then Erwin Jansen's. Thanks so much, man. You guys are great. This is awesome. What was the thing I was thinking about?
Boy, he can shoot that well, can he?
It's good. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I gotta take this graphic off.
Let me ask you this in the super chat. Why does it look like it's like a timing down?
I think that's how long it gets to stay up.
Oh, okay. Because it stops and then it starts again. It's kind of weird.
Well, that shows how many super chats you've sent.
That I've sent?
No, I don't know. It's definitely a timer for how long it sits because I know that that hexicans will go on guys that are reading charts and they'll go big numbers so that Hex will sit up there in the super chat for a while.
Dude, those bears, man. The logo's
so that's some good work, man. We have some amazing talent in the meme department, and I know that kind of goes without saying in crypto, but in Hex, it's some of the stuff's so good. That bear one is
the bear necessities. Look at Terrafin.
I got it on the monitor. I get to see it on the front, and then I get the it's the gift that keeps on giving over here on my other monitor. I got to see it twice. It's amazing.
Matt, take us out of this friggin' void that we've fallen in. Change the subject. What do we got going on, man?
All right. So, well, I told you at the beginning before a lot of people came in that we got the officially got our registered validator node up. And I'm just really excited about that. There are a number of people I've been talking to that are in the Compassion Cartel who are excited about that. One of the things that's really unknown about validators is the fees are so low, right? Especially at the beginning of PulseChain, that we just don't know what yield is going to look like on folks who do, stake to a validator node. But one thing I think is important to note is that, there are going to be 33 bonded validators and they'll rotate. And those validators are really what keep the Pulse chain up and running, right? And so it's going to be interesting to see. I look at some of the other chains like BSC that have proof of stake, and there's some significant yield that can come from staking to a validator. And so there's a lot of unknown there, but it's a necessary part of things. We're excited. We literally right before the stream got registered. There's probably, I want to say there's 15 or 20 in there right now. And we need more than 33. So it's an exciting time. It's cool to see this stuff make progress. It's cool to see the devs, fixing stuff quickly. And but that's what we've been working on. We're really excited about.
Good. So with your research on other chains, etc., just for the folks, what type of incentives do some other chains and other validators use for the folks who delegate stake to them? What type of percentages?
Yeah, so the ones that were in there that the devs put in, there were 3 validators put up, and those were at 50% as far as how much of the fees that they would share. We're doing ours, and actually I'll announce it here. I'm going to make a video about this, but we're going to do our validator node at 90%, and then we're going to use the 10% to cover costs, and then any remaining money is actually going to be in the Compassion Cartel. We're going to put up a simple way in which people can vote on where to give that money away. And so we're going to actually be giving it to individuals and organizations with the essentially excess. So we're literally only going to cover cost, and then the remaining is going to be by vote of Compassion Cartel members of where those dollars go for charitable purposes or for helping people out. It could go to Christmas blessing. It could go to a lot of different places, but wanted to carve out some of the fees to be able to have something that we could actively participate in, giving away. And so that's kind of our mission with all that. It's not a money-making venture. We just want to cover the cost of server space and those type of things, because I don't think people realize how expensive it is actually to run the required node sizes. I mean, you have to have a 4 terabyte drive. You've got to have some really big, beefy servers to run these things, and they're not free, and they're not in someone's basement. So it's but at this point, this is really a long haul type of thing where in the short run, it's not going to be a whole lot of yield, but it grows. And if you were somebody that was in like BSC right now, the top validator node does about 1.7 million kind of USD per month, if that gives you any idea of what fees look like on a rotation over a month period of time. And so it can be significant long term, but that goes back in our scenario 90% to stakers, and then obviously our cost, and then the remainder for good purposes.
That's awesome. Yeah, and Matt, we've said this before, but when you guys are ready to go, we'll do a stream. We can do some interviews and help you tell the story. Just let us know.
Hey guys, I'll go ahead. Sorry, man.
No, that's good. And the thing about it is, there's 33 of them, right? And there's going to be people out there, from the perspective of staking. I mean, there are some people that are whales that could literally have a validator node with one person staking to them. This is more of a community effort, because I wanted to say, how do we create some sort of revenue that we can participate together in, and it may be token stuff to give away, but what if, we've talked about this before. You did the Christmas blessing. You had somebody that you blessed today. I've known of Hexicans who paid for someone's funeral. I mean, there's all kinds of things that come up. And I like the idea of the Compassion Cartel folks saying, hey, this is a need and it's really important. And other people in that group saying, yeah, I really think we need to help this person. And I like that idea of community and people having conversations around how do we make a difference and bless people. And it's nice to have kind of almost a revenue stream to do that with. And so that's kind of our ethos behind the validator node.
Love it, man. I liked your idea. What was that concept you talked to me about, where basically it's just a giving pool? Take a small amount of money from a lot of different people, and there's a revenue stream there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah, giving groups like that is really good.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys something, if you don't mind. I don't want to jump into something else. So I want to ask you, and this is just something that we've been kicking around here, and I wanted to see what your guys' impression of it. This is not anything of substance. It's more of just an idea. But I was thinking about this.
First of all, none of this is of substance. So
yeah, good point.
We're
Good point.
good.
So one of the things, I think there's a lot of people who make a lot of different things, right? Creative people. I revealed on the last stream that I make knives. There's people that do all sorts of different creative work, and then there's, people have stuff. And, I was thinking it would be really neat to have a Craigslist of Hex, right? That basically anyone in the community could say, hey, I've got these things and I will accept Hex or Pulse, I guess, as payment. And that if we had ourselves our own marketplace where literally people could put it up and we only exchange in Hex, and it's our own marketplace across the community, because so many people have so much, right? I've got like 2 storage units, I've got all this stuff, and there are times when people need something, and I think it'd be really cool if there was a place where people could say, yeah, I'm making these things and I'll accept payment in Hex, and just have this marketplace within our community where people are showing their wares or selling their stuff, and you can only transact in Hex. So we've been kicking that around. I just wonder what you guys thought.
Well, so I heard a couple months ago some talk about how the evolution of Staker app and how that will work. And I know that they haven't said anything specific, but some of the ideas that were going around were more like social network based. So people are going to have houses in lots of different places. So, would you, there's a house swap sites, but what if you went and stayed at a Hexkin's vacation home and paid them in Hex, stuff like that. Yeah. So I think I like your idea. I think that we're going to see, something like that. And then, I mean, for things that are true gold, Terrafin with the Beanie Babies.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's forget the vacations. Well, let's get to the legit investments. Brandon, I keep remembering you talked about the house, the house. What was that called? The house sniping.
Oh, wholesaling.
Yeah. We won't bring it up again. That was the last thing, but stuff like that.
Well, I just want to see branded Brandon Rags to Riches glasses on the marketplace, so I can buy it with Hex, and I can show my support.
Matt, frankly, I think that idea, that's a horrible idea.
I want to buy Rags to Riches merch on the Hex Bay.
Seriously,
I got something, man. I think here's the thing: if you have a community and you have people that are willing to participate, then you have something, and it will grow. And the neat thing about that, like if I buy something if let's say I want to scalp stuff, so I buy something cheap on Craigslist, I can list it for sale on Hex, whatever. Yep. And then what's the advantage to that? Well, I'm buying it for X amount of Hex, and it's appreciating in value. So it's a win-win for everybody, right?
Yep, that's how I see it too.
Matt, that guy who's accepting Hex for mattresses at his mattress business, that's going to be awesome for him. And then you got a conglomerate of people that are doing business with each other, and it just helps, absolutely helps. So I'd expect you to have a working prototype in 2 weeks, Matt.
Yes, sir. Well, what's neat about it too is that, buying clubs have been around for a long time. And if you think about the power of community, is this idea that imagine the future where people could literally have a business in the community. And, if you build it big enough, you mentioned the mattresses. Well, let's say you've got a business somewhere and you say, you know what, I could start listing on this marketplace and get in Hex that does appreciate. And I think that's the thing that's so, I'm not getting USD that's going to be inflated out of existence. And I think that I just want to support creators. I want to support people who are making stuff. I love handmade stuff. I love, merch. I mean, all that kind of stuff. But we value Hex, and we love that, this, I can, stake it and appreciate. I mean, it creates opportunities as well.
There's something to be said, Matt, about, I think one of the problems in cryptocurrency is they want to use different cryptocurrencies as a medium of exchange to exchange payment from one person to the other. The problem is when they market this, they try to go too big too quick. And I think that's a big problem in corporate America, generally speaking. What happened to the grassroots movements? Where you just had a small group of people that started it. You didn't need to market like crazy. you got into a situation where people felt comfortable, and it grows very organically and naturally, and it grows quick after a while. So I like that approach. I like us using it and just letting the word of mouth spread on its own.
Well, there's a proxy for this too in the old school, towns. You ever heard of trade tokens? In the past, in communities, they would develop their own trade token, and it would be for just their business. And the same thing is interesting that's resurfacing here is, and I think you're right, is that it's only valuable to those that hold it and value the coin. Well, our whole community values Hex. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to trade in it? And there's also something really interesting is that trading Hex is not selling Hex. Trading Hex is bartering, right? Because you're trading an asset. And so there's an interesting, a non-taxable situation in that too, which is interesting. So yeah, we'll see.
Don't sell your Hex.
Yeah, don't sell your Hex.
Yeah, like a terrapin. That's good. Something similar to that with other offshoots. You can sell stuff. You can sell products and services.
And to be clear, Terrafin, we have not. This service isn't live. Stop posting the stuff you got for sale in chat, dude. Come on.
A Hex Fiverr for services by Hexicans. Yeah.
Well, Brandon, don't you do some massage work?
Oh, dude, you just teed me up, but I'm not going to take that bait, bro. I'm not going to take it.
Well, you are a DJ, right?
Absolutely, dude.
Hey, I don't think we told Panda that we may find ourselves doing a little lottie dottie on our next Saturday Night Live.
Dude, you trying to get down, Panda? Well, Panda, you're East Coast time, right? Or Central?
Central. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me know. I may have to be remote, like run outside, be in my backyard. Doing it because I do most of the streaming from my office here. But I saw you guys on Saturday Night Live, and I wanted to be there. So
we were hoping you'd show up with Jenna X.
So guys, I want to do this. Mike, the guy that we hooked up today, he messaged me and he said you guys are freaking angels. So I asked, can I call you?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
let's do a call. Let's do a call, and then if you guys are okay with shutting it down,
yep.
I gotta run. I don't want to, but I got more kids' school stuff. So
cool. Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna call him up. Make sure he's cool. Make sure he knows.
This is a great way. This is a great way to end it all.
Make sure y'all can hear it. You'll hear it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hello?
Mikey.
Yeah, what's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
Boy, I'm wonderful, man.
Wonderful?
Yeah,
now,
wonderful.
I'm gonna tell you real quick. I'm on a stream. I got some people online. Are you okay with just chatting with me for a second?
Yeah, most definitely.
Dude, so when I was throwing the 20s on the table there, man, it just kind of looked like you were shell shocked, like you couldn't believe it.
Shell shock ain't the word, bro.
It's not the word for it.
That ain't even the word for it, man.
So I
didn't know what was going on, man. I'm like, yo, it's a dream or something. This ain't even real. Like, what in the world? I gotta wake up. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, oh man.
Well,
my head's still foggy.
Your head's still foggy?
For real.
Well, dude, man, we were talking about it. You definitely deserve it, Mike. I was saying this. I think I was just a pawn in this whole process, and I think you've done the right things for a long time. And I think God was just using me to bless you, man, because you deserve it, and you got that kiddo, and I'm stoked for you, man. I'm really happy. I'm really happy for you.
Man. Wow, man.
Well,
I'm so happy. That hard work definitely pay off, man.
Hard work does pay off, brother.
Definitely, man, in the long run, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I'm gonna hop off here. I wanted people to hear your voice and hear it straight from you. But you hit me up if you need anything at all, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, buddy. Be good.
All right.
Bye-bye. Cool.
Dude,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, it's been super fun. So good seeing you guys. Let's do this again soon. I'm not going anywhere for a while.
Awesome. Rags, are we going to see you tonight? You going to do a stream tonight?
I might do a stream tonight. Yeah, I'll check Hex streamers. Normally, there's not much activity around 9 or 10 my time.
Okay. Any chess tonight?
Yeah, we'll play some chess.
Okay, I look forward to that. It's like a perfect time. Put the kids to bed and boom, watch some
chess it up.
Play some chess.
Chess it up, baby.
And for anyone still on, go check out Cabana Crypto. I think they're on now.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
they are there now. Yeah,
having some fun. But I got to head to a kid's school thing, or I'd keep going, or I'd head over to Cabana Crypto. But good seeing all of you. Thanks so much in the chat. Thanks for the super chats. You guys are awesome. So happy to be back, and happy holidays, everyone.
All right. See you guys.